guys, welcome back to our YouTube channel. So today I'm going to be doing like a talk about Beau and like how he's doing and stuff like that. So hopefully you guys enjoy this video, but so basically I'm just gonna, I don't know really what I'm going to do, but anyways, so Beau has been doing pretty good lately. I mean, he's had his off day, which I'll tell you guys about that. But so we went on our vacation, as you guys know if you've watched some of our previous videos, and so when we came back I was not feeling that good. I think I had like just like something in my belly, wasn't feeling too good. It didn't help that we had to go on a plane, and whenever we go on planes my belly always just starts to hurt because I have this weird fear of planes. I think that the fact that I'm thousands of feet in the air just makes me kind of nervous, and yeah, so that was nice. So yeah, planes, I just don't like them at all. So we came back. I didn't ride for like 2 days. I rode Aspen the second day we were back, and then me and Lily rode our horses, Aspen and Chief. So I rode Aspen, Lily rode Chief. If you guys know, Aspen's my horse, Chief's Lily's horse. But anyways, so Aspen did super good as usual. She's always good. Like, she never does bad. Just kidding, she does bad sometimes, but not all the time. So the third day I ended up riding Beau, and he did really good that day. I saddled him up. I can't remember. Yeah, I saddled him up and he did pretty good. He was like, yeah, he did really good, and I was impressed by him. Like, he was walking, churning, stuff like that. And then I rode him the next day after that, and he was acting kind of weird, and I put a tail back on him to keep his tail nice for the winter, because I didn't want it, because he has an amazing tail. His tail is so thick. Like, if I show him in the shows, I won't have to use a fake tail because he's so, like, it's so nice. So I wanted to keep it nice. I put a tail back on him, and apparently he was like scared to death of that thing. Like, he was running all around the pasture and like trying to run away from it, but it's connected to his tail, so he can't do that. So he was acting kind of weird. Me and Lily were like, so first I took the halter off to get the bridle on, and we were out in our like yard, that there's like a gate that you can go out because our yard's all fenced in because we have pasture, and then like just fenced in. Yeah, I don't know. Anyways, so I was like, oh no, I should not have done that. And he didn't want to put the halter back on. I was like, oh no, he's gonna run away and then yeah, get hit by a car or something. I was like, oh no, this is so bad. So thankfully I got him into the pasture, and I was like, okay, if he runs away now, it's fine. And I was riding bareback. I had a bareback pad on him, but like if he runs away with that, it's fine because he can't get ruined. It's like a saddle pad, but just has a cinch on it. So anyways, so I was like, oh my goodness, this is gonna be hard. He did not want to get the halter on, and then he started running away again, and it was like ran all the way up to the rock pile, went down, like went in a huge square, and then went over to Oakley. You saw Lily's video how Oakley got hurt and everything, and so she's in our pen right now. And so I was like, okay, so we're gonna be having a hard time today. It's okay. So then I got him into the corral, and I just started like making him like lope and trot in like the square kind of thing, but he kept running over to Oakley's head and kept going like that. It was like, okay. And then I tried to put the halter on, and he still didn't want. I was like, okay. And then then he had his fluffy halter on, and if you saw him, sorry, I just ran over breath, talking a lot. So that was weird. My face. I was like, I don't know. That was so funny. Okay. Anyways, so if you saw our video when we got new stuff, I got a fluffy halter for him. Some people call them head collars. Some people call them, I don't know. I call them halters. But anyways, so yeah, I was like, okay, so maybe he doesn't like the halter, but he's usually fine when I'm catching him in the pasture, and I'm like, okay. And so then I went to change out to the rope halter, and he did good. He let me walk up and get the halter on, and I was like, okay, that's like kind of weird. But I've used the halter since then, and he's been fine. So I'm like, okay, maybe you're just having a bad day. It's okay. So then, but he still had his tail back on then. So then I caught him, got the bridle on. Lily helped me because he doesn't really like the bridle yet, and he's a Mustang, so he just is like, why is this thing in my mouth? So when I got the bridle on and everything, he was doing okay. Like, he was still like kind of just didn't want to stand still, but I lunged him a little bit before, just like on the lead rope before I got on him. He did fine. Like, he wasn't like acting like that bad. Like, he wasn't doing perfect, but he wasn't doing bad. And obviously he's not going to do perfect because he's still in training. And so so then I got on him, and he just started spinning circles, and I was like, okay. So I just then I jumped off. I jumped off because I was like, I don't really want to get bucked off today. And so then I was like, maybe it's the tailback. And I didn't know that the tailback was bothering him back then when he started running around and all that stuff. And then I took the tailback off, and he acted perfect. Like, nothing was wrong. I was like, so was the tailback that was bothering you the whole time? Why you wouldn't let me put the halter on? Why you ran away? Not the bridle, but he just does bad with the bridle. And I was like, maybe you just don't like the tailback. So he doesn't have the tailback on right now, but I'm going to definitely put it back on so he can get used to it and everything, because I want my horses to be desensitized to everything. So yeah, he did so good when I was riding him. He was acting like a perfect horse that you can ride. I only walked him, but I wasn't like trying to like move fast. I'm trying to get him to, when I click and say walk, that means walk. I don't want to squeeze. I don't want to kick you with my feet. I want to just give you a slight squeeze and walk. And he was doing so good. I just did this once, and he just walked, and I was like, so excited. I just wanted to scream. But I didn't, because that would probably speak up. Back to the point. I'm so happy right now. And so I was so happy, and he was walking in circles, like not those like pivoting walks like he was doing before, but the walking in circles that I was wanting him to do. He was doing that, and he'd go both ways, and I was like, Lily, go get Mom. And so Mom wanted to see, and I was like so happy with him. He was doing so good. And then so I gave him grain that night, and I did all the like, I brushed him out and then let him go, and he was like, did so good. And I was like, we're getting somewhere. I feel so happy that we're like getting somewhere. And so yeah, anyways, just that day was just so good. Besides beginning, which took like 20 minutes before I could actually, like, I was running him for like 15 to 20 minutes. I'm not exaggerating. That's just how long I was doing it for. And I was like, Ruthie, be patient. These things take time. So it was fun. And then the next day, I caught him really easily. He walked up to me a little bit, and then caught him really easy, sat on up really good, and then the bridle came. Me and Lily spent about 20 minutes, trying to put the bridle on. He would not do it. And every time he'd back up without me asking him to, I'd just make him like back up even more. So we spent 20 minutes trying to get that bridle on, and finally we got it on. I was like, oh great, this is going to be a bad day. I can just feel it in my bones. Little did I know I was really, really right. Really right. And so, he did fine at the beginning. He was kind of acting strange though, and he did not have his tailback off. I took it off before because I was like, we're not doing this whole thing again. So I took the tailback off before we started to ride, and then I just left it off when I was done doing that. But so it was Charlotte's birthday, so we had people over, and I was like, they were like, yeah, we had people over for dinner for Charlotte's birthday. Or not for dinner, for like from 11 to like 4 or something like that. And so we had people over and stuff like that, but I was like, I'm just gonna go train Beau because it's from when I woke up. Well, I woke up at like 8 or 9. I've been waking up at like 8:30-ish, and I don't really know when I wake up. 8:30-ish, 8:30, I don't know, somewhere around then. And so I was just getting ready, and I was like, oh wow, the party's already started, better go get dressed. And then it lasted till 4. I was like, the sun goes down at 6. or 5:30. So I probably should go train him. So I went to go train him and stuff like that. And then, so yeah, anyways, so he was doing pretty good. Like, he wasn't doing like amazing like it was that second day, but he was doing pretty good, and stuff like that. And so I was like, okay, good, we're not, that bridal thing didn't phase us at all. I think that's how you say it. I've never said that before. Anyways, back to the story. So then he started acting weird, and I was like, okay, it's okay, Ruthie, just keep going. You're not gonna get killed. I mean, you might, but probably not. So, then he stopped, and I was like, okay, we're gonna keep going. And then he tried to go this one way, and I was trying to make him go the other way. And I was like, oh yeah, we're not doing that. We're going my way because I'm your boss. You get to go the way I want you to go. I wasn't being like mean or anything. Like, come on, like, it's like, okay, well, we're just gonna go this way. Just like, kind of like, yeah. And then he started trotting. I was like, oh yeah, I did not want you to do that. So I started to pull back, and he started bucking. I was like, I wasn't thinking at that point, and I fell off, obviously, because I was not going to try to stay on, because I probably wasn't going to stay on anyways, and I didn't really want to fall into a fence or something like that and get more hurt than I already was. We were in deep snow, thankfully, so I was like, okay, I didn't get hurt. So I got booked off, and then I got back up, and he was over at Oakley's pen. And then I walked over there, brought him back over to where I was training him, and got back on. And then he started doing it again. I was like, why would you do this? And that time I kind of just jumped off, because I was like, yeah, I don't really want to try to stay on and maybe get hurt from him slipping, because it's snowy out, and then falling on top of me or something like that, and him rearing and falling on top of me, because I'm reading a book and the girl got paralyzed from that. And I was like, well, I'm listening to a book. I just heard that today. Her horse fell on top of her rearing and she got paralyzed, and I was like, I'm being careful when I ride from now on. When my horse starts to rear, I'm off on that side, not to this side. So that kind of made me more cautious. Obviously it's just a book. Hopefully it's not real, but anyways. So, like, oh great. Okay, anyways, I can't be long here, or you guys are gonna get bored of me. So, anyways, so then he just stood there that time, which I was glad that he didn't run away. It was glad that he just stood there and waited for me to get back on. So then I got back on. We sat there for like 3 minutes or something, and I was like, okay, now we're gonna start to go again. So then I walked him over to the gate, and then we stood there for probably another 3 to 5 minutes. And then I got off, and I was like, okay, that was a good note. You walked over the fence, you stood there still and good, perfectly still. You didn't try to paw, you didn't try to move. So it's like, okay, we're gonna be done, because we ended on a good note. You always want to end on a good note when you're training horses or riding or anything like that, because if you end on a bad note, your horse is going to get away with it and then do that again the next day, probably. If they're more well trained, then probably it's less likely, but if you're training them, it's more, very, very likely. So anyways, that's the riding story. So then I went and tied him up for like 10 to 20 minutes, and I was like, you are going to stand here, think about what you did, and I'm going to go inside and eat and warm up, because I'm cold and hungry. And so he just stood there, and by the time I got back out, it was dark, but it was kind of already getting dark when I was done. But then so then I went out and untacked him, and I gave him a treat, or maybe, I don't think I gave him any treats or anything. So I was like, you're not getting anything today because you bucked me off. And nobody was out there with me. It was just me. And so I went in, I was like, how did Beau do? And I was like, well, he bucked me off. She's like, oh. I was like, please let me still ride, please. I didn't say that out loud, but I was like, please. I was kind of more worried about Pop saying I can't ride him anymore by myself, but they didn't say that, thankfully, because I was like, no, I have to wait till our horse trainer gets back, and I can't even train him by myself, because I kind of want to train him on my own, kind of, because I want to train him the way I want him to be trained, and I want to do the process. So yeah, I I haven't rode him since last Sunday, and it is currently Friday. Okay, so anyways, it is Friday. My mom is going to pick up pastry, so I had to go tell her because she forgot for our church. Anyways, back to the story. So I haven't rode him since then because it has been literally so cold. I'm going to tell you guys the weather really quick. So excited for summer. It's currently 4 degrees out. Me and Lily rode today. We were going to do a video on that, but then we were like too cold, so we only rode one round around the pasture. But the low is negative 9 today, and it has already been that low, so we were probably riding in the negatives. And the high is 12 degrees. Tomorrow the high is 32. It's getting warm. We're gonna do a riding video. You guys are like, why are you excited for 32 degrees? It's freezing. Because it's been so cold lately. It has been in the 3-degree weathers. 3 degrees like every single day, and it's so cold and it's miserable. But yeah, anyways, sorry this, well, actually, I don't know if it'll be long or not, but sorry this was long. You probably got bored. Probably just skip. I don't know. Anyways, hopefully that wasn't too boring, but Beau has been doing really good lately, and we've made so much progress since I first got him. When I first got him, I just was sitting on him. He was already saddle broke, which was really nice, and he's been ridden like once. But I was like, he's doing so much better than, well, he's kind of still the same, but when I first got him, he was kind of just nervous and stuff like that, but we've really bonded now, which is really nice because he's like doing so good now. I'm so happy with him. So I'm so glad I got him because I was trying to bid for this other horse in the auction, but then and he was my second choice, and I didn't get her because she went for like $3,000, and I was like, well, can't afford that. I only have like $2,000 I can spend on a horse. So then I ended up getting Beau, and I was really excited for that. So that was really nice. So I was like really, really sad about the horse I was on, and I was like crying, and like I was like, no, I really want this horse because she was at my friend's barn, and I was like just so excited, and I was like, I'm so glad. I think I'm gonna get her because she probably won't sell for that much. She's a Mustang. It's a Mustang auction. She was only hand like groundwork. She only had groundwork, and Beau had been ridden before, and I was like, oh, and he sold for less than her, and I was like so glad because Beau was so sweet from the start. I was watching my friend train her horse. He'd stick his head over the panel and just watch me want to be pet. I was just like, he was just so sweet. So I think it ended up being like a blessing in disguise because he's just the best horse ever besides Aspen, because Aspen is just the best. Him and Aspen are the best. So yeah, anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully this wasn't too boring because I can see how that would be boring. But yeah, hopefully this wasn't too boring. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys have a good day, night, or morning whenever you're watching this. Afternoon, whatever. And make sure to like this video and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And I will see you guys next time.